So then, I guess we're back on it now then. How is you all going? Everybody that's watching, welcome back to AKM Live. This is the second one I'm doing. I'm joined by Shauna and Brian again. Martin can't make it this week. This week, we're going to be discussing a season review. We're going to go through the player of the season, signing of the season, young player of the season. We're also going to do like a new couple of segments, actually. The first one is going to be the warm-up, where I go through some of the videos I've done this week and ask for the guys their opinion on what I've spoke about. And then we've also got Morning Monday or Monday of Morning or whatever it is I'm going to call it towards the back end of the show as well. So, I guess we don't have to do introductions, right? We both were here last week. So unless you've got anything you want to plug, Shauna, before we get going.
Well, I'm not wearing anything by jackdesigns.co.uk. I'm wearing Liverpool. But if you just want to stumble across SD Designs 2020 on Redbubble, check it out.
No. Right, guys. So I think we'll start off with the warm-up. So last couple of days or so, we've been linked with this. Is it Lenny Euro? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly or not. I think it's Euro. Now he plays for Lille. PSG basically went in for him in January, according to some reports in France, and Lille wanted 100 million for him. But coming into this summer, he's got 1 year left on his contract, and Liverpool, Real Madrid, and PSG have all been apparently, told that they're looking into him or anything like that. So I'll run through a couple of stats for you. Then I just want to see if get your guys' opinion on him. In fact, I'll give you Willian Pacho as well. He's another young centre back. He is, how old is he? Is he
22?
Lenny Euro's 18. Paco's 22. That's right. Yeah. So there's a bit of an age difference between them. So Euro played 32 games in the league, 2 goals, 5 yellows. And Paco, if that's how you pronounce his name, he's still got actually 4 years left on his contract. Plays for Frankfurt, and he in the Bundesliga had 33 games, 2 assists, and 7 yellow cards. And he's basically valued at around 50 million. Is this Paco defender? So he's a little bit cheaper than Euro, if that's how you pronounce it. I think that's how you pronounce his name, Euro, whatever. But the one thing before I hand it over to you two. Euro is represented by Gestifute. Now, I do touch on these a fair bit on my videos and stuff because there's a few Liverpool connections there. They represent Darwin Núñez, Diogo Jota. They've represented Fabinho, the old midfielder that we had. And there's other players on here that Liverpool have been linked with in the past as well. So like that Altonori at Wolves, sorry. There is Antonio Silva, João Neves, Matheus Nunes, Pedro Neto, Manuel Ugarte. So there's a few players that Liverpool are constantly linked with on this agency. So I'll hand it over to you, Shauna, first. What do you think of these 2 links, and do you think there's anything potentially in them?
Well, I think if we have a deal with whatever agent, your man Euro, whatever his name is, I think we'd be going for something a lot cheaper than 100 million. Considering that what we spent on Virgil van Dijk and what Manchester United spent on Harry Maguire. But I don't really see where that 100 million is coming from with this fella. He's 18 years of age, still an awful lot to prove. From looking at his stats this season, he's had 32 games, 2 goals. Okay, fair enough. Last season, 13 games. And the season before that, 1 game. So he's a French international. He's only played at junior level. So I don't really see where the 100 million comes into it. Yeah. I think he's way overpriced. And if Madrid and PSG want to go from, by all means, but I could not justify spending that amount of money on an 18-year-old. Just couldn't.
No. What about you, Bri?
I think we won't spend 100 million on 18-year-old, I don't think. It's not what we need. What our youngsters coming through. I think that spot should be reserved for our academy players coming through. I think, 22, 23 years of age is more where we need to be with a defender who's got, a couple of seasons underneath his belt. I think we're actually lacking a little bit of experience at the back. I mean, with Matip going now, we've got Van Dijk. Gomez he's an okay centre back with a mistake in him, but he's versatile, so he's handy to have in the squad. But I don't think you'd do this to go, a little bit older, just as an experienced head when Van Dijk does get injured,
Yeah.
To calm the boat, right? But we will definitely be in, I think, for a centre back this year. I just don't think it's going to be £100 million worth.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, I think I probably should have mentioned to start with though. Like, they do think that he won't cost 100 million now, but more like 60, 70 million. But still, 18-year-old, unproven, like at Lille, it's too much money for me. What about the other player? Is it Paco? I think I can't pronounce his name.
We'll just go for Paco.
Yeah, Paco. He's left-footed, so he would come in at that left-hand side. Again, he's 22. Plays in Frankfurt, and I kind of think the Bundesliga is a bit of a stronger league than the Ligue 1. So he would have a bit more potential experience that's relevant to come into Liverpool or something like that. But what about him? He's rated at apparently 50 million. Do you reckon that's something that Liverpool should probably look at? Like, I had a thing about like last summer when Liverpool used to go and buy players for 20 million. I think 40 million is the new 20 million now, to be fair. Just due to inflation and stuff, I just don't see Liverpool being able. I don't know. I can't see Liverpool going out there and forking out all that money, especially when you've got a new manager that's coming in, unproven. Like, they're not going to throw a lot of money at him when he's kind of got to. I think, not to go into this another segment, but Slot's probably got to show what he can do before he starts getting investment like that. But I'll hand it again over to you, Sean. Or what do you reckon about that Pacho? Do you think that's something of a caliber that's more likely or not?
Well, I mean, he's an international. He's played for Ecuador 10 times, or he's appeared with Ecuador 10 times, and he scored 2 goals. He's had, fairly good experience in Independiente del Valle, I think that's how you pronounce it, in 1922, and then 22-23 Royal Antwerp. And he's had a good lot of games there with them. And obviously the Bundesliga there, 23-24, he's had 33 games, 2 assists and 7 yellow cards. So there's a little bit more consistency with this guy. I'll be honest with you, I don't know all that much about either of them, so I'm not going to be claiming to be an ITK. But I genuinely think that if we're going to put in money on one or the other, I would go for Pacho, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same. What about you, Bri?
Yeah, I definitely think he's more the profile we're looking for. He's definitely the type of player that he could be coming to Liverpool. I still think the price tag's a bit high. I mean, obviously the club will do their homework before they go in for anything like that. But yeah, I agree. The German league is a stronger league. I'd be more confident of him coming from Germany rather than France. He's definitely, I think he matches our. He's the profile of player I think we're going for in the age range. Maybe the price is the problem, but I think I could see that happening.
Yeah, true, same. So I think again, just due to his experience and age, I think, and the price as well, I think that could be something that Liverpool are probably most likely to go for, basically. So the last bit of this warm-up, guys, is I did a video the other day surrounding Diaz, and apparently Deco, the sporting director at Barcelona, has been in contact with Luis Diaz's agent over a move to Barcelona this summer. The article did also say as well that, Barcelona are going to have to move players on to be able to buy players. It's like obviously sell to buy and everything like that. So do you think that, well, Rafinha was mentioned as a player that that Barcelona would look to move on. So I asked the question at the time, would you take Rafinha as a swap with a little bit of cash for Diaz, or would you want just a straight cash deal done for Luis Diaz? I'll start with you, Bri, this time. What do you think about that?
I suppose Diaz. He's got 3 years left in his contract, I believe. He's a steady player. Very rarely gets injured. He scored goals. He's not the best, but he's a constant. I think, I don't know, I think it's up to the manager. I think if the manager has let him go, then I don't think it's up to Barca. I think it's up to Liverpool. We hold all the power how long he's got left in his contract. Rafinha, no, I don't think for me, like, I wouldn't have him. I think Edwards would have his 2 or 3 players in that position lined up before we
just gonna have a look at his stats for this season. Actually, Rafinha, I should have probably loaded that up, to be fair. So before we get to you, Sean, as well, sorry, Bry. So in La Liga this year, Rafinha's made 28 appearances, 6 goals, 9 assists, 4 yellows. Don't seem that decent, really, does it, for a team that supposed to be up at the top in the La Liga? I mean, I know they've not probably done too well this year. Oh, did they win it this year? Actually, I can't remember who won La Liga this year. Was it them? I can't remember if it was them or Madrid. I don't know. Either way, he's not done too cracking over there. So but go on then, Sean. What do you reckon about the whole Luis Diaz situation?
Barcelona are never going to get rid of players that they want to hold on to, and I think if they're getting rid of them, they're getting rid of them for good reason. We've been linked with this player, I don't know how many times. Diaz, I would probably hold on to. Yeah, I like we're going to be linked with players. We're going to have players linked with clubs, and I think, I don't know, I would hold on to Diaz, to be honest with you. I think he had a bad season last season. He wasn't all that great, and I think that could have been down to a multitude of things, obviously with his father and stuff like that. That was a fairly traumatic thing for him to deal with. But I think maybe under Slot, he may come good. He may start to improve and show his worth. But I think hold on to him.
What were you going to say then, Bryce? Sorry.
How old is Rafinha by
Rafinha is 27. He's 27 years of age. And I think as well, he's also he used to be, maybe. It doesn't show you on here now. I'm sure he used to be another Chesterfield player. Like that agency I mentioned earlier. I'm sure he used to be one of them as well. So, I guess then, just before we move out of this warm-up, then I'll ask you one more question, because you mentioned something then, Sean, about keeping all the Diaz. If you were to move on one of the front line, who would it be?
I fully support all players that decide to wear a Liverpool jersey. I don't want to see any of them fail. But I think we need to look at no, I don't think Salah. That's a difficult one. I mean, if I had to choose, I probably would choose Diaz. But I don't want to get rid of any of them. I think we need to. I do think we do need to bring in another striker, because I think Jota is very injury prone. He's fantastic when he gets on the field, but it's not often enough. I suppose you could include Gakpo in the front three. So I don't know, maybe Gakpo.
Gakpo, really? What about you, Bray? Sorry, Sean.
To get rid of Jota. If Salah was to sign a new contract, realistically, I think I've washed my hands with Darwin Núñez this season. So.
Just to put it out there, then I guess for me, I would probably be in line with Jota, just because I think he's becoming a bit like Thiago. Like, I think there was a stat I saw earlier on, he missed 23 games last year, or in total due to injury. When he's firing, he's amazing. Like, he's really, really good, but you can't rely on him. It's coming to the point now where I think if this season, if we do keep hold of Jota, that he needs to prove that he can stay fit for a full season. If he has anywhere near the amount of missed games that he's had this season, like again, 23 again, I'd be moving him on. I really would. I think as good as you are with your shooting and everything, mate, but you're just not on the you're not on the pitch enough to do it. So what we're wasting money on you basically. Right. So what about we're gonna go into the season review now, guys, then. So what I'll do is I'll bop this up. So there we go, season review. What I'll do now is I will go over some stats that I found over the season, and then I'll hand it over to you two to basically talk about moments you want to talk, you've thought about, or anything that sticks out to you from these stats or anything. So in the Premier League last year, Liverpool won 24 games. They had 4 losses. They scored 86 goals, conceded 41, and kept 10 clean sheets. They had 790 shots and 277 of them were on target, giving them a shot accuracy of 35%. Of the 86 goals that we scored, 6 of them were penalties. We hit the woodwork 25 times, which again, I think wasn't there one game last year where we constantly hit the woodwork? I can't remember which one it was, but we definitely were hitting the woodwork over and over and over again. That might have been the season before. I'm not too sure, to be fair, to be 100% with you. And then on the defensive side of things, we had 65 yellow cards, 5 red, 100 offsides we had last season as well. How many of them do you reckon were Darwin Núñez?
Darwin
Núñez. And then we did a 349 fouls as well. So that's for the overall team. Going into the top goal scorers and the assists in the Premier. Was this Premier League? Yeah. No, this is all season actually, I think. So top 5 goal scorers I'll do. We've got Salah, 32 games, 18 goals. Núñez, 36 games, 11 goals. Jota, and this goes to the point we've just mentioned then, 21 games, 10 goals. So he made less appearances than pretty much everyone else in the top 5, but he's the 3rd highest goal scorer. He was followed by Luis Diaz, 37, 8 goals, and he was joint with Gakpo at 35 games, 8 goals. And then on the assist side of things, we had Salah. We know how many games he just played. I just said it. 10 assists. Núñez, 8 assists. Elliott 6, and then again, joint 4th and 5th, we had Diaz with 5, Gakpo with 5, McAllister with 5, and Trent with 5, which I think is a bit low for Trent.
Very
do you reckon
low.
That's due to his new position with that, do you think?
Well, his injury as well. You've got to take that into question there, his injury.
Yeah.
10, I was just looking at Doug there. 10 draws is way too much if you want to win the league. Without a doubt. The amount of goals that we bloody conceded. I mean, the early conceding goals, that was kind of like the story of the season. We concede far too early in the game, or we concede in the game. It was a guarantee, and then it was kind of like trying to fight an uphill battle after that.
Yeah, it seemed to be always all the time that towards the back end of the season, like the business end of the season, we were always conceding first. And then it got to the point as well where we'd concede first, and I'd be sat there thinking like, "Oh, we'll be all right, we'll score." But then we got to the game where we didn't score, where we couldn't pull it round, where we couldn't get back in charge of the game. Let me just ask this question here. What's this? Spectre wants to know how many assists that Robbo had. Let's have a look at that one. I didn't actually look at that one. Robbo had 2 assists.
That's dreadful.
Yeah. Robbo had 2 assists, Spectre. But yeah, for me, last season, I would say I'm going to go off like what Colin said here, actually. And this is where I was going to put a lot of my basis of my review of the season around was, given what we had last season, given the players that we lost with the with the leadership and everything like that. We lost Henderson, we lost Fabinho. As much as Fabinho wasn't too great towards the back end of the season, some people would say he had off the field issues, which I won't go into, but apparently, there was stuff going on behind the scenes, which was affecting his performances. And then you build a whole new midfield around McAllister, Szoboszlai. You throw Endo in there last minute, who didn't have a full preseason. You've got Trent playing this new inverted role, which again, that's them stats there show that affected his game. As much as Trent likes coming into midfield, he was not as productive as he has been normally. Not as many goals, not as many assists. And as you said earlier, then he got injured as well, which Connor Bradley came into and did, wonders for. Actually, now you've mentioned that, I want to see how many assists that Bradley got last year, if he's on here.
And Gomez, check Gomez as well, because Gomez was in Robbo's.
So this is just the Premier League. Yeah, this Premier League. So Gomez got 1. Bradley got 3. And he played 11 games compared to Trent playing 28 in the Prem. Yeah, so that just shows the effect that Bradley had compared to what Trent did. So yeah, going back to what I was saying. So I think, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, if you'd have come straight in off last season and said, right, we're going to win the Carabao, we're going to finish 3rd, I'd snap your hand off at that. After the season we had the year before, I think a lot of this stuff that came around with us trying to go for the quad and the title and everything, I think that all started when, not to talk about it again, but when Jurgen Klopp mentioned he was leaving. Because we, as a fan base, was like, right, we've got to go off on a bang now. We've got to go and get as much in as possible. And then when we didn't do it, that's why it seems disappointing. I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at right with it right now. What about you guys? I'll come to you, Shauna, since you seem to be agreeing.
Well, I think an awful lot can be put down to the announcements that Klopp was leaving, and I think the expectation for any club in the Premier League, especially one of the stature of Liverpool Football Club, is to compete at all levels and to win everything. And that may sound like pie in the sky. That may sound like I'm a glory hunter or whatever. But bear in mind, before Klopp, our expectations were, we hit Champions League and that's it. Qualify for Champions League and that's it. And now our expectations have completely changed. And I think they've always been under Klopp to win everything. So I don't think Klopp's announcement, I think it would have made it extra special, of course, but I don't think it changed anything. I think if you look at what was happening at that time, we had an awful lot of players injured. The players that came on were doing a very, very good run-in for us. And then these players were coming back, and then we were putting them back on the team, like the likes of Alisson, the likes of Trent, the likes of Robbo. And, if you look at Gomez was doing well at left back, Kelleher was doing very well. Bradley was doing excellent as well. So I think it was a bit of a transition of these players that have just come back from injury, have come back, and it took them a while to kind of get back into the game. And I think that's where the slump went. But I don't think it had anything to do with Klopp and the announcement of him leaving. I really don't.
Yeah. I'll bring you in, Bri. What's your first open thoughts of the season last year? What do you think?
The way the season ended, I'm happy with Champions League spot and winning the cup. We've got to be happy with that. I think we got ourselves into a position though where we could have won more. I think, I love Klopp. I think he got it wrong against Man United in the cup. He took off Salah and all that early. It just invited pressure onto us. I think we was running that game. We missed loads of chances. But we got ourselves into that position, didn't we, where we was top of the table. I don't think we should be losing to Atlanta personally over 2 legs.
Agreed.
And the same with Man United. I mean, we were by far the better team. I want to go back to the defence, which we were talking about this now. I think it would have been a different story if Matip was playing alongside Van Dijk, because he's got the experience. We've conceded a lot of goals first, but we didn't have the experience. We had Van Dijk, and then there was a mix-up then between Kwanzaa, Gomez, and what's the French boy's name? His name. But
Bradley?
we never had, no, not Bradley, the French guy. Starts with a K.
Kanate.
Yeah.
We never had a settled back four. It was always somebody who was injured. But I think if Matip was there, somebody with experience, Van Dijk would have been, I pretty much think, impenetrable. I thought they worked together fantastically well, and that's why I think we do need somebody with a bit more experience coming in at the back, because we've lost a bit of experience in that squad. Especially with Milner going, Henderson going, Matip's gone now, Thiago's gone now. It's okay having a young squad, but you've got to have the experience there to pull you through.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy with a cup, and I'm happy with third place finish. I think we could have done a little bit better though, for Jurgen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that FA Cup it was the FA Cup when we lost against United, wasn't it? Like, I feel like, that was the one. Like, I think we could have ended the season with the FA Cup in the Carabao, 100%. I get what you say about Atlanta. They just absolutely smashed us at Anfield. Like, and then they did the same to Leverkusen as well. A team that's gone all season unbeaten, and then they lose in the Europa League final. Like, he must be doing something good. That manager over there, is it Gasperini or something like that? I remember after that game, when it must have been the Anfield one, and there was a journalist who deals a lot with Italian football, and he was mentioning like that Gasperini, like he finds it strange how he doesn't get linked with the big jobs, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I personally do think, I know you don't agree, but like that the whole, we get the disappointment from just us trying so hard for Jurgen, and then we fail, and then that's what, I don't know. All right, ask you two now then. So do you guys think that the ending of the season was a bit of a downer? Apart from obviously using Jurgen, do you think coming third and the Carabao is a disappointment?
You go first, don't
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think it's a disappointment. I mean, anything other than a win, but I mean, you have to put it into context, and that's that. And what Brandon was saying, aka Mighty Reds 97, after selling, the midfield, rebuilding the midfield, to get a trophy and to get third, and a few decisions here and there, few results here and there, nipped to the post. Fair enough. We had third. There was no way that we were going to, miss out on third spot. We just weren't. So I don't think it was a failure. I think it was. I think with the amount of work that we put in last summer, I mean, we have something to build on. Are we disappointed? Yes, but I don't think it was a failure.
Yeah. What about you, Bray?
No, I don't think it's a failure. I mean, in theory, we've had a better season than Arsenal because we've walked away with the cup.
Yeah, that's true.
What I would say is, it's like, considering we set Klopp and Liverpool Football Club a set standard, and those standards are Champions League, Premier League, and like a third place finish and a Carling Cup is probably the least I expect from Liverpool because of the standards we've set.
Yeah, I get that. Like, but I just think going off of how we last season was just so appalling. Well, yeah, well, not coming in the top four with that team and everything like that, and then the rebuild you have to do. I do think coming in and finishing third, getting a Carabao, it's not a failure at all. I do think that it's good, and I just think kind of we'd probably just build it up a little bit for the whole Jurgen thing.
Well, I mean, considering that Man United are already now calling Ten Hag an absolute tactician genius because they won the FA Cup and got what 6th or 7th or 8th, and now they're saying that they've had a better season than Liverpool. I think you look at the expectations on their end and the expectations at our end, and it's good to want more. That's what a competitive team should be looking at, especially at the stature of Liverpool. I want to just put one comment here, and I can't for the life of me understand why this has not become a thing. There's fantastic chance for each and every player, but there's one chance. There's no chance there for Kwanzaa, and I think it would there would be a great song, right, for Kwanzaa, and it's "Tell me when will you be mine." Kwanzaa, 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 Kwanzaa. Come on, lads. I just think that would be.
Chat, what do you think about that? Is that the new Kwanzaa chant we're going to be hearing around Anfield?
I have to just get a delivery, lads. Bear with me for one moment.
Yeah, no bother. I hope he's put himself on mute. Yeah, he has. Again,
it's just all the past couple of years we set high standards for ourselves. I expected Liverpool to win Europa Cup. That's what I expected, because we should be winning that.
I think when you look at the beginning of the season, I think everyone put Liverpool as like the favourite to win that straight away. Yeah,
it's to me, like, no disrespect to the Europa Cup, like, but it's not Champions League, No. But I expected us to win it because it's the cup. Even before Jurgen announced he was leaving, I wanted us to go for everything. Because we are Liverpool Football Club, and that's the standards we set. I think we walked away with a trophy. We finished in the top 4, which is bare minimum. That's what I expect from Slot this year. Top 4, cup run.
So you're well. We'll leave that for later on, actually, because we've got that to cover on a bit later. But yeah, I'm kind of in a similar mindset to you in regards to that. What about, I guess, with the whole Kwanzaa thing? As a season review, I think it's good to see how many kids actually came on and did well this year. Like, there's been times, especially under Brendan Rodgers, when he'd start playing players that I'd never heard of. And like, we had people that were building up like Suso or Pacheco, and they didn't really do much. I think Suso was up. I'm not going to lie. No, he was all right for the time because of what we had, but he wouldn't get into the Jurgen Klopp team now. But some of these players that have come through this year, like Bobby Clark, Connor Bradley, Kwanzaa, is it McKennell? He played DM, I think, in that Carabao Cup final. I almost said Champions League final then. In the Carabao Cup final, he played in midfield there. Kelleher, like, I know he's probably one of the older ones, but I do think, we missed Alisson for a fair amount of games, and he showed again that he is probably the best backup goalkeeper in the Premier League. And I would hate to think that we're going to probably maybe lose him this summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about the youngsters, Brian? What do you think about that?
I mean, look, we said, we've praised Liverpool for rebuilding the midfield. But, we've got to remember half of that midfield and half our new signings were out for half the season. And the youngsters really did step up. So, I thought they didn't look out of place. Kwanzaa, he looks better and better every game he plays. Connor Bradley, I was like kind of missing him when trying to come back. His energy, and I think we've got a bright future ahead of us, and I hope Slot can keep these youngsters in the squad and keep progressing them.
Yeah, like for me, Kwanzaa, he was a mix. For me, I like when he first came on, I thought he was just like Joel Matip the way he came out of defence with ball and everything like that. I thought, all right, you've been watching Matip play a fair bit, you mate. But then
his comment though about Matip being injured, I thought was like, listen, I'm not going to pretend that I'm not happy. Obviously, I'm sad to see Matip injured, but now it's my opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. That's what you play, isn't it? You want that cockiness, you want that belief, and it shows how confident he is in his ability,
Yeah. But then, as I was going to say, like Kwanzaa, for me, he was like, Massive. But then I think there was a Virgil qualities in him as well a few times, right, Martin?
On this slot. Na, 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 na. How you doing, boys?
Good, mate. You?
Yeah, not so bad. Just packed all my stuff up because I'm going on the big airplane.
No. When you going?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. Bit early, liking it.
I know, but if she had it airway, mate, it'd been done 6 months ago. That's why we weren't allowed to go back to Alicante.
What's your thoughts on the season then, Martin, since you've joined us in this one?
Well, I thought we've done more than what we expected to do, to be honest. If you had said to us at the beginning of the season, like we said last week, if you had told us that we were going to win the cup and finish third with the defense, with that rebuild that we had, I'd have took it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I started off with. I think with a rebuild and everything like I think it just how many other teams in the Premier League have rebuilt their entire midfield and then still had the sort of success that we had? Like, I don't think you can think of another team that did that, to be fair. And then all the youngsters as well that came on and played as well, especially in the Carabao Cup final. Me and Bri were just talking about that then, when you had, like Bobby Clark coming on and McConnell coming on, Kwanzaa playing, Kelleher in there.
Jayden Danns as well.
Jayden Danns scoring his first. Did he score a Premier League goal or Carabao Cup goal? I can't remember if it was. He scored a really, really good goal though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So again, like, we've got this depth in youth in our team, and it's good to see. I've not seen that in my lifetime, to be fair. Like I was saying, right, we had Suso and Pacheco, and they were just both pants, to be fair.
We need to tie Kelly down. Got to, no matter what. You've got to keep him.
I think he'll go though for more first team football. I really do.
I think if he goes, he's going to end up somewhere like a Villa or a Celta Vigo or somewhere like that.
Mm.
You know,
you think Caoimhín Kelleher is going to end up in where?
I don't know. It's somewhere where he's going to get first team.
Well, I mean, I think he's world class.
Celtic are looking for a new keeper now. Joe Hart's gone, aren't he? So is he going to go up there?
That was the one I was going to say. Celtic. Yeah. Apparently, Celtic have been sniffing about him.
Gosh, Celtic.
Who wants to go to Celtic or to the SPL? Sweet Jesus! Like,
how much is he worth? You know,
he's going to be worth about 18 million now.
I would
Kelleher 18 million.
Yeah.
I think you get about 30 from me, if not a bit more.
Yeah, you could do, but if someone slapped 18 million on the table, them owners that we shall not talk of will take it.
According to Transfer Market, his current value is 20 million euros. I don't know what that is in pounds, probably about 15, 18.
Kelleher,
18 million pound.
Kelleher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Sean, have you got access there to the car? You don't care for access,
I'm actually I'm in the cop here. Live on Adam Naylor.
So yeah, anyway, what you were going on about before, Adam, I think we've overachieved this year. Yeah, we've got so far in the league, we slipped off because of them dirty Manx who lived down the road. But if you'd have given me that at the end of the beginning of the season, I'd snapped your hand off for them out 100%.
Yeah,
it's just that because we slipped off at the end of the season, people were like, "Wow, we could have won the quad there," but realistically, were we going to win it? No, possibly, but no chance.
No.
That's a good point that Mog said here. Celtic don't have 18 million to spend on a goalkeeper. And Colin says he's worth 30 plus. I think he's worth an awful lot more than that.
Imagine him going to Wrexham on loan.
No. Well, what are you talking about? Caoimhín Kelleher.
Sean, I love just winding you up lately, mate. You body big time.
Jeez. No way.
I would hold on to Caoimhín Kelleher like our life depended on it, because if Alisson gets injured, we have to have a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's too bad to be a second choice. He's too good to be a second choice. He deserves it.
But Colin, Colin's after making a point. However, if we get 18 plus for Kelleher, that's pure profit. We've got to stop talking about what makes the owner's profit. It's at the end of the day, it's a football club, and we hold on to the players that we need to hold on to. Kelleher is very, very important. Like, he's the only goalkeeper in Liverpool history. What's the bloody stat? There's an amazing stat about him that has scored more goals in a penalty shootout or something like that. But Kelleher is amazing, an amazing keeper. And I couldn't care less about the profit we make out of him. If we sell him, I'd hold on to him.
Well, apparently Adrian and potentially Kelleher could leave us. Liverpool have been linked with 2 goalkeepers. I think one of them is it McCarthy at Southampton? He's a free transfer come the end of the season. And then the other one is the Feyenoord goalkeeper, whose name I can't remember right now. I'm gonna have to have a look for it.
I'd go for Alisson's brother.
Don't forget.
You guys talk amongst yourselves while I look for this goalkeeper from Feyenoord.
Brian, we haven't heard from you.
When we bringing our Saturday night quiz night over?
What?
I don't know.
Where's this world famous Sean O'Quiz?
My world famous quiz.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crank the answers.
That's. I think good old Mark Mason it kept winning that. I wasn't going to send out.
I'll get Gemma to be your independent adjudicator.
Dude, yeah.
That the goalkeeper from Feyenoord is Justin Bigelow, if that's how you pronounce his name. He's been linked with us and been linked with Arsenal as well.
You won't go Arsenal. Yeah, here's a question I got asked the other day, and I heard it also on TalkSport, and it's not about Liverpool. Who's had the better season? Their last two seasons, who's been better? United or Arsenal? Who's had the more successful 2 seasons?
Well,
United
if you're looking at trophies,
2 seasons.
If you're looking at trophies, Arsenal, United, isn't it?
United.
But if you're looking at like league position, it's got to be Arsenal.
Yeah,
Is it finishing second in the league or is it winning a cup? No.
True, Bri. True.
Winning a cup is always, to me, success. We're only saying second and third and fourth are good. Oh, it's fantastic because of the Champions League. But realistically, we want to go for the cups, don't we?
Yeah. Right.
Toby's looking for a new team, so maybe you can get him in again.
Has anyone got any more comments they want to say about the season review? Anything you want to mention?
Well, I suppose like the best youth player to me would be Bradley and Kwanzaa. The best player this season, I think, was McAllister. Obviously with an honourable mention, Kelleher and Harvey Elliott. I did a poll in one of my groups there, and it was actually between Virgil van Dijk and McAllister. And I don't know whether you saw this is Anfield. Henry Jackson had voted Liverpool FC player ratings, every player ranked from worst to best.
Would you still give Van Dijk keep him as captain?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. So
I don't think there's anybody else in the team you'd go for, though, is there? Like, who would you replace him with? You give it Trent?
Yeah, I did say last year when he was given to Virgil, I thought, nah, it's the wrong decision. I'd have give it from the season prior. I'd have give it to Robbo, but I don't think Virgil van Dijk is. Although he's a leader, I don't think he's got a history with the club like Trent has, and I think Trent would be an amazing leader.
Yeah, I think Trent's probably a future captain when Van Dijk leaves. But who would your player of the season be then, Martin?
Well, I've got right. I know soft lad here who's sat in the cop at the moment is going to laugh at me, but I've got 2, and I can't split them. I've got I can't say his name. Slobozlai. I think he's had a good season.
Supposedly.
Yeah, he's had his iffy moments, but I think Endo's had a fantastic season.
That's good. I mentioned
really
it.
do.
Like he's in my top 5 is Endo.
Yeah,
Endo's in the top five,
I think Endo has come out from nowhere, and that kid is going down. And it's my opinion. I'll probably get stabbed in the head for all this, for all the comments and stuff. But I think he's got a. If he doesn't go, he could be. He could be a Veron. Not a Veron. What was his name? Had long blonde hair for Liverpool.
Vonneran.
Vonneran, yeah.
Who?
What? The Ukrainian fella.
Luca.
Lucas.
Lucas Leiva.
That's him, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
It's my thing keeps dropping up here.
Oh, that's it, is it?
He's telling me to say it. It's all his fault.
Come here to me. I was. You were saying Endo's your man of the season.
I'm going to give it to him. Yeah, I don't know. We are going to get slated for it, but I think he's been good.
So Henry Winter has him down as number 12, right? Number starts 34, 9 as referee sub. And he's had a 7. He's after giving them an average rating of 7.21, and he's number 12 in Henry Jackson's ratings.
Yeah, but for someone who's come in out of the world of no one knowing who he was to fit in and do what he did, I think he needs a cracking pat on the back because he was under some pressure.
Yeah. I think as well, he was the first player as well that I've ever seen a Liverpool manager come out and do like some sort of introductory video to, when we signed him, Klopp was like, oh, well, I've wanted him since he was born. Like, he's one of these players that I never thought I was going to get. I didn't think we'd be able to sign him because of how old he was. But, the owners let me buy him, blah, blah, blah. Brian.
That was the Lidl shopping list.
Huh?
That was off his Lidl shopping list.
Probably, yeah. Bri, who's your player of the season?
I'm going to be a little bit controversial too. I think it's McAllister, or I think he has for his consistency. I think he has stepped up this year, like he has, I think he has. The thing is, he's living in Mane's shadow, and I don't think you're going to get better than Mane. But I think Diaz has been there when half the squad's injured, and I think without him too, I don't know. I like Diaz. McAllister, I think, but Diaz is a close second.
Yeah. What about you, Shano?
Well, I mean, I like McAllister. I mean, I like Szoboszlai as well, but I think when he came back, he didn't play all that well. So I'd say McAllister, which funny enough, let me see. I'm just checking the ratings.
I keep pulling at him.
Oh, I'm come prepared tonight, hasn't he? I bet he's got a little red book.
So like Henry Jackson or Henry Winter went Virgil van Dijk first and McAllister second. And then Quansah third, which I was a bit surprised by. But I definitely think McAllister played very well. I think he was having difficulty at the start with the kind of position that he was playing further back than he'd like to. And I think he I'm playing Sudoku, Spectre, but I think he had once he was in the right position, I think he did very well. But definitely, I think Bradley did extremely well when Trent was out. I think that kid has a future, without a doubt.
But there's some good talent coming through now, and the future's bright. I don't care who the manager is. We'll get behind them and we go again.
Yeah, but what you got to look at is, I mean, are any of these players, not in his plans? You got to look at it that way. I mean, would
you bring Carvalho back? Carvalho. What is it? What's his name? He's out on loan. Yeah.
Carvalho. He's on loan to Wolves, or not Wolves, Hull, isn't it? Is it Hull?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is Hull, yeah.
Adam, you're on mute.
My bad. If if Slot's going to do this 4-2-3-1, then I can see Carvalho playing in that middle bit. I don't want to see Carvalho out on the wing at all because he's just useless out there. Stick him in the middle and probably have him as the backup to Szoboszlai. You move Szoboszlai forward, put Szoboszlai behind the striker, and then you swap him out with Carvalho if needs be. That's just something I'd do anyway. But yeah, my player of the season would probably be McAllister or Van Dijk as well. I can't pick between them. I think Van Dijk's come back and had a really good season considering he had that injury, and then I think last season he was poor. And I think this year he's had a really good season as Van Dijk. McAllister's come in and he's looked like he's always just been at Liverpool for his whole life. I think no matter where Klopp put him, whether it was DM or a bit further forward, I think he's just played really, really good. So that Maka would be up there for me. And when you were talking about young player of the year, I would have initially gone for Kwanzaa, but I think going off what you mentioned, where we played Bradley and we didn't miss Trent when Bradley were playing. Bradley came in and was like, he was just like Trent 2.0, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like, if not better. Like, when we looked at them stats earlier, he played less games than Trent, and he was only a few assists behind him, if not, or something like that. So I do think probably Bradley would take my young player, and Van Dijk would just marginally take my player of the season in regards to that. And then if anything for anybody else on here on the player of the season, any honourable mentions, anything like that?
I think Gomez did extremely well in left back as well. When Robbo was out injured, I thought he was phenomenal. And I mean, you know, we all thought that he was probably outstayed his welcome, maybe a season or two.
Robbo's not got long left now anyway, though, has he?
I don't know about that, but I think Gomez played extremely well. He really, really did. Gomez, when Tsimikas and Robbo were injured, I think if any player goes, it'd probably be Tsimikas, but I think Gomez played extremely well. Jesus Christ, the amount of times I thought he was going to score his first goal. I was like, come on, Gomez. But,
you know, I want to give the benefit of the doubt, and I know I've slagged them all season, but I really got an idea, and I really think I'd give Núñez one more season, and I've given him down the banks. But if Slotty can come in and sort him out, I'd give him one more. And if he's not, or give him half a season. If he doesn't do anything, then maybe sell him in the winter. But yeah. I'd give him another shot, because the kid's come in and he's had all this pressure put on him, and it's not gone for him. But yet he hasn't put his head down.
Yeah, I agree with Núñez. Spectre put a question in here. Who is the most improved player of the season? For me, I'm going to go with who Shauno just mentioned, Gomez. I think he's come on leaps and bounds this year. I think if he'd have been put into that centre-back position or anything last year, we'd have all been like, oh, I'm not too sure about this. But this year, he's come on and he has 100% shown that he's got a future at Liverpool, whether it be backup, left back, right back, centre back, whatever. He's got a place in that squad for me.
We have to put him up front so he can score if he's going to stay.
Do Steve Colker.
I'll see you later, Colin, mate. Thank you for joining the stream.
See you, Colin. I think I'd agree with me, agreeing with you, agreeing with me.
Agreeing with me.
I'd go for Gomez and Elliott. I think Elliott has had a superb season. I think he's scored some really important goals for us. So
he's more like a senior player now. I think he's come on that much. I think, you know, he can come in off the bench and he can take control of that game. I think now he's got that experience, and I think he's a good leader in his own little way. People disagree, but he's not scared of a tackle.
Who's that? Sorry, Elliott.
Elliott.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Elliot's been really good. I think he's got a bright future now ahead of us. I think as long as he don't play out on that right wing and he's in the centre of the park, I think he'll be fine for me, Elliot.
Do you think Salah's going?
Salah?
Do you think he's going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Brian?
I don't know about Salah. I'm mixed because he's saying things like he's going to be there next season. He's going to be pushing for trophies next season. Nothing changes. So either he's going to run his contract out. I don't think he's going to go. I think he might. I don't know. He's saying things with like he's going to stay, but Liverpool aren't going to have him there if he's not going to sign a contract. So
yeah,
I don't know.
As Doug said, we don't want to lose them on the free as well. Brian, can I ask you? Sorry, Adam, I'm kind of taking over your show a little bit. Brian, who's your most improved player of the season?
The most improved player.
I'll put it back. Well, put it back.
Pull it back.
I think can't look Paul Gakpo as most improved. He's equal on what Luis Diaz is. He's equal the stats, the goals. He's most improved. But I would say Elliot too. But I don't know. I think Gakpo's a little bit. I think this year with Arne Slot, I think you're going to see a different type of Gakpo. I think you're going to see the Dutch national team Gakpo.
Yeah, I think that as well with Van Dijk and Slot and Gakpo, with it being the nationality. I think there's going to be some more coming over fitting into it. Like we went through all the Spanish sides, and then we went through the Germans, and now we're going to go through the Danish sides.
Danish.
Oh yeah. What? So I'd had a quick look at the stats then for Gakpo. She's like, this is his first full season? It is, isn't it? Yeah, because he came halfway through last year, didn't he? So this year, 35 games, 8 goals, 5 assists, and then within the first, let's say, 4 or 5 months of him joining Liverpool, he got 7 goals and 4 assists. Hold on, where's he gone? 2 assists, sorry. So pretty much the same a little bit, but I get he has become a little bit more involved. And also, just to defend him as well a little bit, I will say as well, I do think he needs consistency on a position rather than just being chucked in willy-nilly. Like, I think he's played centre mid at one point, he's played down the middle, he's played out on the left. He needs to have a position where he can basically make his own rather than just being a bit of a stopgap filler, which I do think is what Gakpo became basically. So I will move us on now into the far too early prediction segment of this stream, guys. So what I want to do on this one is basically, I want to come back to this a couple of times over the preseason. I want to come back to it halfway through and then come back to it probably the week before the season starts to see if anything's changed. So based on the current squad as is now, no players being signed, no players being sold or anything like that, what do you expect from Arne Slot's first season? I'll hand it over to you, Bri.
Without any players coming into the squad he's got now, I expect a top 4 finish and a cup run.
Yep.
A final. Get to a final. That's what I expect from the Arne Slot.
What about you, Shano?
My expectation is always the same. I don't think that this should be like one of these 5-year plan things because of a new coach coming in. I think we've good players, we've got young lads in. I want us to be up there, fighting for the title, and winning silverware. So, I'm not looking at top 4. I'm looking at top 1, or top, certainly runners up, top 2, and a trophy. That's what I'm looking at. A good Champions League campaign. Hopefully, do something there. But that's my view on it. Martin Mason is just after messaging me saying that YouTube have kicked him off. So
I don't know why.
I don't know.
He must have said something or had something playing in the background. God knows what's gone on there. That's first time for that, isn't it? Bloody hell. Second show in and he's already been kicked off. Bloody hell.
It's about.
Oh God, where's he put? I can't believe he's done that. Anyway, I guess for me, with the squad we've got right now, I would say, I think I said this last week, to be fair, Arne Slot has a lot better foundations to come into than what Jurgen Klopp had. Like he's got such a more solid foundation. He's got youngsters coming through. He's just got a whole new nucleus of a midfield that's had a full season. So for me, I'm going title challenge with this current team now, as is. Salah's still there, blah, blah, blah. Title challenge and some decent cup runs. I do think that he's got to come in and he's got to basically run with it, in my opinion, as Arne Slot. There's not many deficiencies in the side. I think some of the stuff that was going on last season was down to the formation and probably the strategy of the team, the tactics, far too open at the back and stuff like that. I think when just looking at what Slot does in regards to his teams and how they build up from the back and how they're a bit more solid defending and everything like that, I do think that Slot has a team that's worthy of title challenging, and anything less than going for a good title challenge and a cup run, as you say, Bri, is a failure for me. And that may come across harsh to some people, but Jurgen Klopp did more with less.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I don't see why we should be all kind of. I mean, obviously losing Klopp is a massive thing. Klopp leaving, but I mean, the man said that he's out of energy, and what the hell was that?
I'm playing a message from Bri. Go on.
Oh, okay. So
Martin, not Bri. Sorry to confuse you.
Yeah, I was wondering because I saw Martin saying your voice message. But I think Slot has inherited a very, very good team. He needs to make some changes. Definitely needs to do something with the defense. Adam, what are you laughing at?
So Martin's told me that apparently he was kicked off for nudity.
Why do I keep dragging up this way? I don't know. How is he kicked off for nudity?
I don't know. Oh God, I don't know.
Hell, that's a strange one. So I think, look, he's inherited a good team. I think he needs to maybe make a few changes, a few signings, definitely at centre back. I think we need to make something of it. We need to win some silverware this season. Otherwise, it's a fail.
No, we can't let our standards drop from Jurgen. Jurgen has set the foundation. We can't let them drop. But we need to win a trophy, and we need to be up there challenging. Anything less is not acceptable, not good enough. We've got to let our standards at the top, and that's where we are. And that's where Klopp left us, and that's where I expect us to carry on.
Do you think that Slot gets time? Say, for instance, let's just say, again, early prediction show, right? Say we get to November and Liverpool are 7th, third in the Champions League group or whatever. After I know the Champions League would have only just started then, but let's just say we're 7th. We're hanging about 7th. We've had a bit of a iffy start to the season. Do you think that Slot gets given time next year?
Well, that's like saying if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. Do you know? I mean, I really don't want to even entertain that scenario, if I'm honest with you, because I think then we're already setting them to fail. I think we need to have our spirits high. Obviously he was picked for a right reason. Obviously Klopp likes him. The Feyenoord fans think the world of him. He plays the certain style of football that we've played, and have been very successful under Klopp. So I think, we're a club that doesn't have a revolving door of managers anyway. So I think, if you look at Klopp's, not full season, but if you look at his first season, we didn't finish off that well, did we, in the first season?
Under Klopp? No. I think we got to Europa League final, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we might have finished like 6th or 7th or something like that, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, here we go. What's he wearing?
I'm not getting kicked off again.
Did you actually get kicked off for nudity?
Yeah. You said it was not nudity. I had that bloody top on.
That's hilarious, man. That is so funny.
It's fucking not.
Surprised the stream didn't get stopped then. I'm surprised we're still going. If that's the case.
You might have a bloody flag or something on your, like, Adam. Keep that gobshite off.
That's mental. But no, I think based on Klopp's not full season, but when he took over from Rodgers, he didn't finish off that well. So look, we're not a club like Chelsea that have a revolving door of managers. I think he'll be given time, and I think we just need to get behind him and hope for the best. But
I was just about to say what you said then. We can't turn out with you, Adam saying about give 6 months or whatever. We can't be, and then if he's not done it, maybe make a change. We can't be coming like a Chelsea. Can't do it. We've got to give that at least 2 years. Got to. He's got a first year. He's got to get used to the speed and how the Premier League's run. Second year, he goes at it.
Just before I move on to Brian, what's your very early predictions with Slot with this squad now? What do you expect with what we've got right now for next year?
I reckon I'll be happy with top 4. I would. I'd be happy with top 4. As long as you don't fall off the pace. For his first season, top 4, I'll be happy with that.
Okay. Brian, have we come to you yet for the early prediction? We did do, didn't we? I think. Yeah, we did. Right. I guess then, guys, if that's everything for this, what we'll do is we'll go into the Monday morn. So, Sean, I'll hand it over to you. You have something you'd like to have a violins out. Spectre's had a comment on this already in the chat, so I'll leave it to you, Sean. Do you want to lead off with this?
So, first of all, can you mute your mic, Martin? That's me first moan.
What?
Can you mute your mic? We're hearing all the background.
Oh, they're playing Uno, yeah. Gemma, your husband said turn it off. Your mouth.
So my first moan is this. Manchester United fans think that they've had a better season than us because they won the FA Cup. Get over yourselves. It's not happening. There's no way that you've had a better season than Liverpool Football Club.
They called it the Mickey Mouse again, haven't they? Because we've got it.
It just goes to show the low expectations of your club. If you think that finishing whatever 7th or 8th or 6th or whatever and winning the FA Cup is, a better season than 3rd and winning the Carabao Cup, I don't get it. I don't get it. We're in the Champions League. You're not. And keep Ten Hag. Give him a life contract. Keep him there. Please do, because you know what? He's given all that about Arne Slot. Let him keep running his mouth and doing 15,000 interviews. I don't care. Let him let him stay there and keep underperforming.
God, you are really, aren't you?
It really annoys me. Now, the other thing.
Fuck him.
And this is what Spectre was kind of touching base on. Guardiola apparently leaving at the end of this season, this coming season. Well, I wonder why. I wonder is there maybe 115 reasons as to why he's leaving? So there's 115 charges against Manchester City. 115, okay? Nottingham Forest were done for 1. Everton were done for 1 or 2, and they got deducted points, right? let's look at the charges that Man City have. 54 failures to provide accurate financial information from 2009 to 10 and to 2017 to 18. 14 failures to provide accurate details for player and manager payments from 2009-10 to 2017-18. 5 failures to comply with UEFA rules, including financial fair play 2013 to 14 to 2017-18. 7 breaches of Premier League PSR rules in 2015-16 to 2017-18. 35, listen to this, 35 failures to cooperate with Premier League investigations December 18 to
Okay, now you're worse than the judge.
To February 23 in total. City have been charged with 115 breaches of the Premier League regulations. And to make matters worse, right, the UK government are relatively interested in the charges, the 115 charges by the Premier League against Man City, that the Foreign Office, talking to the British Embassy in Abu Dhabi about it, that the FOI confirms correspondence with emails withheld as they say it may risk UK relationship with UAE. So it's almost like a blackmail. Well, you know, if you actually, you know, find them guilty of any of these, or if you actually hold them accountable for any of these breaches, then this might have some, you know, political issues.
All about the oil.
And the other thing, right?
If this is the one I think you're going to talk about, this is the one that gets it for me. This is the one that I've got a problem with.
So, in September 2023, 3 officials were flown to the UAE, including Michael Oliver, to referee an ADNOT game. They were paid, usually you're paid $1,500 to referee a game. They were paid $20,000 to referee this game, okay? And the ADNOC, that stands for Abu Dhabi National Oil Company Pro League, right? Guess who's the board member? Man City chairman. And that's the actual Abu Dhabi National Oil Company is state-owned. And guess who's the vice president? The owner of Man City. So that clearly this guy has a conflict of interest, and he's still been allowed to officiate. And 3 of the officials that were officiating at this ADNOT game were officiating a Man City game where a lot of decisions went their way.
Yep. I can think of one especially, which was the Jeremy Doku karate kick on McAllister. That was Michael Oliver, was it not?
Yes.
In regards to that, which was not given against Man City. And I'm sure there was another one where all 3 of them were at the same game, like linesman, ref, VAR, whatever. All 3 of them were at the same game, and all of them came up with a decision that was against, well, in favour of Man City winning the league, basically. That's the one for me. Out of all of the other ones, like the ones that date back to 2010, 2017, whichever, I don't think anything is going to come of that. I really don't. In all honesty, these 115 charges, the fact that it's going to take till potentially autumn. I think David Ornstein last said for them to come to trial and everything like that. I don't think that anything's going to come of them, in all fairness. I just don't.
I think they're going to get away with it.
Yeah, I do too. I think they'll get away with it.
I think there'd be holy hell if it happened, and I think it would absolutely destroy football. I think if you're talking about, you might as well have fucking Lance Armstrong back in the Tour de France if that's the case, because clearly what they have achieved in that period of time is tainted, absolutely tainted. And if you like the other thing about this thing about Michael Oliver, another person that was involved was the former Barcelona president, who was done for bribing a referee, who's also part of the fucking Man City fucking board.
I'm surprised they didn't bribe the fans to turn up for the freaking trophy parade. That was shocking, that was.
It's
But
because
that's what we expect. I mean, maybe their fans know that it's fucking tainted. Maybe their fans, all two of them, know that it is absolutely tainted. Man City they should be stripped of all of it. I personally don't want Liverpool fucking winning anything because due to default, because Man City have been, it should be just null and void at the end of the day. But they should be stripped and they should be relegated, like what happened with Rangers.
Yeah, but it won't do that. Money talks. They're too much of a powerful club to do that.
But then to me, football is.
How come if we're going to go down that route, doesn't it say that no, you can't have two teams and playing in the same competition? Like, is it Girona are owned by City as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think them rules though have been changed because there's the two Red Bull teams as well in Salzburg and Leipzig, and they've both played in the Champions League at the same time.
I wonder how much that cost.
probably a shitload.
115 charges.
But on the other thing, what you're saying, I know that this may be a little bit different. I think this has got something to do with like just even probably worse corruption. Juve got relegated, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
In Serie A, didn't they? I can't remember what that was in regards to, but they definitely got relegated for some reason. So there is precedent of it, but I just think the way this has been pulled out and the way it's been dragged out, the way it's been dragged out, and I just think City have got so much. You got to think, if City's got that much money, they're just going to throw at this, right? Is the Premier League going to match that in terms of money they're going to throw at a certain thing like this? Like, I don't know. I think you are right, Sean. Like, if nothing comes of it, I do think that, it's the death of football. It really is. But I can't see them being handed a severe charge where they're going to get relegated. I just can't see that.
The thing is, if they're and this is what Spectre was saying. Fair play to Spectre. Barcelona paid La Liga officials in 20 years during same era as Guardiola, time as Barca manager. So it was that guy who is now part of the Man City board. I don't know where he lies in the board. And to be honest with you, I don't give a shit. But what I do give a shit about is football is about fairness, is about, competitiveness, is about, the best team winning. And that's fine. If the best team beats us, that's grand. I've no issue with that. But if they are cheating and they're in breach of financial fair play and finance and profit stability and all that bullshit, and you're getting Nottingham Forest and you're getting Everton and you're deducting points off them, then you have got to punish Man City. And I know that the Premier League are going to be left with absolute egg on their face because Man City, in that period of time, have won a Champions League and have won all those Premier League titles and what have you. But they have to suck it up. They either have one rule for all or they don't have the rule at all. They scrap the bloody thing and that's it. At the end of the day, they are guilty as sin. And if they're guilty, they need to be held accountable.
What's your thoughts on it, bro?
I think we all know they're guilty. Whether they can be proven or not, don't they?
Yeah.
I think most Man City fans think they know they're guilty too. But as you say, you're innocent until proven guilty. But in this case, I think they're guilty. It's just how do you prove it, isn't it? They got all the money in the world. They do need. I think they have to be punished. But what that punishment is, I don't know. Maybe like a 30-point deduction starting at the start of the season, minus 30 points.
I'd have them relegated straight away.
They have to
go with that.
I'd have them relegated.
They should
like Rangers straight back down.
Realistically, they're not going to get relegated. I think they will get charged with something, but I could just see at the beginning of the season, minus 20, 30 points.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like a massive point deduction.
But if you look at Everton originally were in breach of one issue, right? And they got deducted 8 points, which then they appealed it, and then it was narrowed down to 4. So if you look at then, so for every financial fair play error, they've been deducted 4 for each one, then these guys should be bloody in the second conference. I'm not saying that they're going to, but they definitely should be relegated without a doubt.
I watched a video the other day, like a documentary kind of thing, or some guy who's going through it all. Now, if City are charged with this 115 offences and they work it all out, it was 5.5 points per season over the last so many seasons. They should be down into the lower leagues of football basements, but it's not going to happen. They're just going to say, right, we're going to give you a slap on the wrist, deduct you 12 points, you go again.
Yeah. Probably give them a massive fine as well.
No.
Well, I mean, I just think then what's the point in having the league? That I like genuinely, that's how I feel. I mean, I've no problem. Again, you know, a lot of rival fans will look at this and say, "Oh, you know, look, those sore losers," and it's not down to that. We've been well used to being kind of nipped at the post and having decades of you know, not competing where we should be at. So we're well used to that. But at the end of the day, you know, money may talk, but the interest of the sport and the fairness of the sport, that has to stand overall, and that has to, you know, regardless of money, regardless of, you know, the government getting money from Abu Dhabi for green energy, which what Spectre said, that's irrelevant. Like, if that's the case, you might as well just fucking give them a trophy every year, give them all the trophies every year, and just, you might as well allow the Super League happen. You might as well allow the Super League, because the Premier League is dead if they allow Man City away with this for another year.
How many's watching this? I can only see Spectre.
7, 6.
We have a few lurkers, have we?
Yeah. But yeah, just, I don't know. I guess to just put a bow in this, I guess, if that's okay, Sean. I personally don't think that they'll get relegated. I think it'll go through the spot of arbitration and everything like that, if that comes to the case. I do think that they'll get like a big point deduction and probably a hefty fine as well.
It's going to be a hefty fine. It's got to be hundreds of millions, because it's not going to, 50 quid's not going to hurt them.
Oh no! But when you know, one thing on these fines that you see, you know, when you see these clubs get fined and they get fined 20 grand, 50 grand, fuck all is that? Like, you need to hit him where it hurts, otherwise you just keep doing it.
Here's a question for you, because obviously, you know, you lot are more into it all than me, right? So we just had the conversation with Pep, right? Look what's happened at City, right? With the Chargers. Barcelona have had their little thing. Pep was there. Did anything like this come through at Bayern Munich when he was there?
No. Bayern Munich is like, they're fan owned. They're like, all the German clubs have got like fan ownership.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It just seems to be a pattern.
What were you going to say, Bryce? Sorry.
What about a transfer ban as a punishment and point deduction?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you can bring a transfer ban in though, just because it's not to do. Well, did you say that some of the charges were to do with transfers, or was it around player wages?
Well, sorry, you were asking me there.
Yeah, sorry.
So just go back to it again. So 54 failures to provide accurate financial information, 2009, 10, 2017, 18, 14 failures to provide accurate details for player and manager payments, 2009. That goes back to Man City. Sorry?
They could get a transfer ban for that if they found guilty of that.
So that's going back from 2009, 10 to 2000.
But Chelsea got a transfer ban as well, though, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
But I think that was tapping up players under a certain age, wasn't it? Which I don't know. This is just off the top of my head. I think the whole Chelsea thing was because they were trying to sign players under a certain age, and they were tapping them up or something. And that's just like illegal and stuff. So maybe that's what that was.
Yeah, but they're going to be player laundering as well, aren't they? Because they can go from City to that Granola to the MLS side and whatever it is, and wiggle money from me at that club to that club, but no money changes hands. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what's got to be looked at as well.
Yeah.
Not like our Liverpool. We do it the fucking hard way.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I know that we give out about financial fair play and transfer policies and Moneyball and all that, but there is more integrity in Klopp and how he has gone about business than Guardiola and Man City and United Arab Emirates and whatever the hell else is backing them. The other thing we wanted to talk about, Adam, that you mentioned as well was VAR.
Oh yeah, VAR. That was it. So apparently, I don't know how much we want to get into this, but apparently, obviously, we've seen this whole Wolves thing that they've come forward with potentially scrapping VAR from next year. But it looks like that the majority of the clubs that they need to get like a 14 majority to vote against VAR for it to have it scrapped. But it does look like that the majority of the big clubs, including Liverpool, are all going to vote in favour of keeping VAR for next year. But there does need to be some sort of changes. And I think there was something that was mentioned surrounding, I'll have to find it now, where
you should have a player, an ex-player, an ex-referee, and someone else all on that board to do this.
Where's it gone now? Yeah, here we go. So apparently they're going to say that clubs can basically have so many what is the called? You know when you query a decision?
Captain's choice. Captain's challenge.
Yeah, like a challenge. Yeah, you can challenge a decision. And they're apparently going to look at like throw-ins and corners as well, like if they're given incorrectly or something like that. I'm gonna read this article now and try and find the points I'm looking for. If you guys just want to talk about VAR for a bit while I try and find it.
I love VAR. I do. I think it's the best thing that ever happened in the world.
I think if you look at we are actually the worst in terms of the decisions that have gone against. We're actually 20th. And I think Villa is actually first. They've had more decisions go their way. I think Man United are about third or fourth. But I think the issue with VAR is not just the technology, but it's the people that are monitoring the They haven't a clue. And
that's why
you have biased officiating. The issue with VAR, since VAR has come in, is I think the officiating has got worse because they feel, well, okay, VAR's going to clean up my mess here and I can just take it easy. And I think what you have now is you have a very, very poor standard of officiating in the Premier League. To me, this season sometimes was unbearable to watch because of the officiating and the VAR decisions. Woeful. I mean, Diaz's goal against Spurs.
Thank you, Rick, for that.
Should have been a goal. And Jen also gave you a super chat as well there.
She did as well, yeah. Thank you, Jen, yeah.
Me personally, I want VAR gone. Because this is the reason, right?
Go ahead.
Understand human error on the pitch. I can't understand 4 people, 5 people in a room watching it back multiple times in slow motion and still getting it wrong. It feels correct.
Yep.
Well, how about we just do away with it?
But then?
How about they put it on pause for the season? Go back to the way it was. Clear daylight in between. People are still going to whinge about it.
But when we score, right? I can't celebrate the goal until I know VAR's give it. It takes the excitement out of it. And, for me, I'm more accepting of the referee making the wrong decision on the pitch in the speed of the game than 4 people sitting back in an office watching it over slow motion over every single angle and getting it wrong. I can much more accept that than 4 people in an office getting it wrong.
What I don't get is this, right? All right, Ian. What I don't get is this, right? So, okay, the referees made a decision on the pitch. VAR says, okay, we need to look at this, right? VAR does a few rewinds, a few slow-mos, what have you, and then they get the referee to go to a screen at the side of the pitch and then watch it. Like, what are the VAR officiators or whatever doing up in their little studio? That it has to go back to the referee on the pitch to look at the side of the pitch. How is it that they couldn't make a decision between the two? Is there 2 or 3 of them in
I think they need to bring it in how they have it in the rugby. They need, because you can see every angle. You hear the referee saying, right, take it back to that next clip. Is it in there? Let's slow it down there. Did he make contact there? No. Right, I've made a decision. It's a penalty. It's a free kick. Or no, he just get on with it. Yeah, as long as them fans can see or hear what's going on, it's because we pay for all that. If it were for the fans, the football wouldn't happen. But it's the fans have got no choice. They don't know what's going on. It's like Brian said. Is it? Oh, look at that! He scored the Belton goal there. That's a fantastic. Hang on, we've got to wait 10 minutes now in case there was a flick in the corner in the box down the other end of the field. You can't do it. Times that the decisions come in, the moment's gone. It's like, yeah, buddy, we'll still get on with it again.
But if you listen to the audio of the Diaz goal and how bad the communication between the two in VAR and then the official on the pitch, it was all over the place. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. And then, I've just called it offside. Like it was so bad. And even I hate Gary Neville with a passion, but I mean, even when the PGMOL do their little copy and paste statements that they've been doing all season and on the season before that, but even more so this season, that's just not going to cut it. I think referees now need to now look at relegating referees that get a certain amount of decisions wrong in the league. The league is falling apart when you have really, really poor officiating like that. In total, and another Monday moan for me is you need to also look at how the TV channels dictate to the kickoffs as well, because these half-12 kickoffs, especially during internationals or after internationals, is an absolute fucking disgrace.
Yeah, I do.
It's going to be half-12 on after the Champions League's played on a Thursday as well. Now they're saying, aren't they? Are you playing on Thursday? You can play at half 11 on the Saturday morning now.
Yeah, it's a joke, is that? Especially when Liverpool got the maximum, didn't they, in the last season? That's just pants, is that? I can't get my head around that all. Just to go back to the VAR thing, I found that article and I found some bits I wanted to cover. So they say here that multiple members of the Big Six plan on voting against it, to get rid of it. Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool all wish to persist with VAR. Back in October, it was Liverpool who called for a review with full transparency after incorrectly. What the hell is playing on my side here? There's an ad playing on my side here. Sorry. After the Luis Diaz goal was incorrectly disallowed in their loss to Spurs, and this was down to the VAR wrongly presuming the on-field call was a goal and thus believing he had held up the correct decision. The fact was that the referee had signalled for offside and quickly restarted play when he was informed that his original decision was confirmed. Just to carry on a little bit further down, how Premier League clubs want VAR to change. It says here that plenty of clubs also believe that rule tweaks will make VAR's job easier and thus improve its functionality. Clear-cut handball guidance, for instance, would make it faster for video officials to review penalties. And for me, that's one thing that is the problem with VAR. I believe that the rules now have become so complicated and they're not, like as that just said then, they're not cut and dry, that the VAR things are sat there looking at it going, do you know what? Like, has that touched a millimeter above his sleeve, or is it like end of the day? If it's his arm, it's his arm. It's handball. I don't give a fuck if it's fucking his finger or his elbow, his arm, his leg, one arm, one leg, one nod of the head. Sit down, stand up, keep moving, whatever. Like, whatever. If it hits his arm, it's his arm. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's handball. Like, if it's shoulder, then fine. I know the rule is that basically if it's above the sleeve, it's potentially it's okay. That's why players wear short sleeves, and that's why they're supposed to wear short sleeves, is because if it's anything above the sleeve line, it's fine. Anything below it is handball. But for me, it should literally just be anything below the shoulder should be classed as handball. And there's another thing as well. The refs need to have communication with the supporters in the stadium. Like Spectre said there, the NFL...
Rick Roach, well.
Has he put that as well?
Rick Roach says, do you think guys putting mics and referees so everyone hears it real time will help? I absolutely think that's
100%. I've got into watching NFL the past year or so, and every time there's a play and every time there's a flag and they pull it back, the referee comes to like the middle of the thing, he presses the thing and he talks to the entire stadium to explain the decision. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. That is what should happen. There shouldn't be this thing where it's kind of an announcement going, we are just checking now to see if that there's going to be a goal check for offside. And everyone's just sat there waiting, like, and it's like 10 minutes later, and you're thinking, like, is this clear cut or what? Why is it taking 10 minutes for you to decide if his pinky toe is past the other player's ball sack? Like, no one cares. Like, if I don't know. Go on. Sorry, I'm going to go off on one here.
his pube just put him on side there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if they can't get the simple things right, like, you know, you're looking at a TV screen watching a ball touch an arm, and they saying no handball. You know, I just, to me, that's corrupt. Like, you know, it's an opportunity to control games and to control who can win the game and who doesn't win the game.
Yeah, you got too many suits and too many non-football fans making the decisions, and sports channels making the decisions for football. And I think that's what the real issues are. I think it needs to go back to the simple rules, and don't be bringing in this stupid goddamn blue card and sin bin. Get the goddamn, the basics bloody right. Get
the fundamentals, You need to get the fundamentals sorted out. Sorry, Sean, to cut you off.
You're okay.
You need to get the fundamentals sorted out so that the VAR and the refs on the pitch know what they're doing. Like this season, for instance, how many times have we heard in the past where one decision has gone one way at the beginning of the season and they've come out and they've said, well, unfortunately, the rules say this right now. We can't do anything for the rest of this season. It's that. And then when we start the new season, we'll change it. When Onana speared that Wolves player at the beginning of the season and then nothing happened, it happened again towards the back end of the season and they gave a completely different rule. So they're changing So they're changing the rules halfway through the season. And I don't agree with that, because then that again, it gives you a detriment to the league as a whole, because at the end of the day, you can't start saying, well, that'd be like going off. So for the first half of the season, guys, for a win, you get 3 points. But from January onward, it's only 2. Like, it don't make sense. You can't start changing stuff halfway through the season. You have to do it, follow through at the end of the day. And I know that some people won't agree with that, but I just think it just...
But then, I mean, you look at the Premier League now making, changing the decisions on if you're in breach of financial fair play or in breach of the profit and financial stability or sustainability thing, that they're not going to deduct points now after a while. Oh, how convenient is that when Man City are up for 115? So it's the same principle with VAR, same principle with all the. Just get the feckin' simple things right. Sort out the goddamn officiating. Don't have these biased, the likes of Chute or the likes of Cooney or the likes of Martin Oliver, or whatever his name is, Oliver. If these guys make a wrong decisions, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable, because they're not answered to. They don't have to be responsible. They don't have to answer to the press, and they should be. They should
have to do post-match conferences or interviews, and it shouldn't be a case of there should be like certain questions at the. Sorry, Bri. There should be like certain questions, like the journalist shouldn't be able to have like free go at it, like ask whatever the hell you want. There should be like talking points, like say if a decision has gone wrong in the game, you need to ask that question. That's all you can ask. It shouldn't be a case of, oh, well, what happened 2 weeks ago? I think it should just be about what happened that game. And the referee should have to explain himself. Like I've refereed myself, and the amount of times I've had players coming up to me on the pitch and like talking to me, going, "Why have you given that ref?" And I've had to explain it to the player on the pitch, and they've been like, "All right, yeah, cool, fair enough, whatever, right?" Sorry, Brian, I'll let you have a say now because Spectre just said you can't have a say. Sorry, my bad, man. But yeah, but the ref should just explain the decisions. You are in well, I don't even think it is anymore, but apparently you're in the biggest league in Europe, in the world for football, and we've got the shittest refs. And that's coming from a ref myself. Like we have got the worst refs that I know of in a long time. Go on, mate. You've been quiet for a bit.
Carry on from you, Ad, what you're saying about the refs. The most powerful league, the richest league in the world. Why can't we have the best referees in the world? Because they're good enough for the Champions League. My second question is, what's the worst decision? What's the worst VAR decision this year, boys?
It's got to be the Diaz goal. And I know that sounds a bit biased coming from a Liverpool fan, but he was onside by a mile. That's it for me. Go on, Sean, what's yours?
Yeah, it was absolutely. But the other thing that I had huge question marks is how quick they ruled that this was offside without drawing the goddamn lines, or it, like, without a doubt that was the most biased decision that they had made. It was obvious, that they had some sort of agenda or whatever. To me, that was disgraceful. How wrong could they have got it? And I mean, even when you heard the audio, it's all over the place. And I don't want to end up being like a Nottingham Forest and put out a fucking tweet saying, we told the Premier League that the guy was a Luton fan or whatever. But the simple fact of the matter is that these officials have been getting worse and worse and worse every goddamn season. And a manager can't go out and speak out because they get fined. A player can't go out and speak and get fined. So the only way that they'll actually be able to say something is when they're at their conference, when managers of the Premier League are talking with the PGMOL and whatever. And then, I think they have one then in between, I think, in the middle of the season. But at the end of the day, these referees need to be held accountable. The officiating needs to be much better. VAR, as in principle, is not a bad thing. But if you had it like rugby, if you had like a mic attached to a referee, they're not going to get away with these things. And, I know that the Premier League will say, well, they may pick up on bad language that a player may say. Listen, that's part and parcel of football. It's not always good, but I think that's what they need. That's what they need.
Yeah. Again. But yeah, I could go off on that for a while. Like,
has Martin been done for nudity again, or what happened to him?
Oh, I don't know. He hasn't said anything. He's not said anything at all. So, but yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to have a chinwag about? Anything you want to bring up?
Ten Hag should be limited to the amount of interviews that Sky Sports do, because I'm sick of that feckin' idiot. I'm sick of all the Man United reruns when they used to be good, and all the interviews, like, and then your man, what's his name, the fella that bought the minor share, he's talking about, like, we need to knock.
Oh,
Ratcliffe. I call him Harry Potter. He needs to shut the fuck up. Pardon my language. I don't know whether language is allowed here, but
of course it is.
He needs to shut the fuck up.
Didn't I see something? I read something the other day. I found interesting. And there is a member of Klopp's team that is staying out Liverpool.
Yes.
Is it keeping coach?
Taffarel, the
Yeah,
Brazilian.
Taffarel, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm delighted with that.
Yeah.
We've also got confirmation basically as well that all of Arne Slot's backroom staff have it's done. Like they've had the work permits and everything like that. So what date are we on? 27th. Because Jurgen Klopp's contract officially ends this Friday and Arne Slot starts this Saturday, I would not be surprised if we get the first interview, probably already happened, of Arne Slot released by the club. And I would expect as well, if it's not Friday, I can't see it happening on a Saturday, but I reckon by Monday next week, Arne Slot would have had his first press conference as well.
Guarantee you won't have as many interviews as Ten Hag had when he became Man United manager. They're going to do, like they did promotion videos. There's another thing that came out there, 30-year-old Ruben Peters. He's taken over the role of first team lead physical performance coach. He worked at Genk and Feyenoord. He's meant to be a well sought after gentleman. And, you know, although he's 32 years of age, he's a lot of experience under him. So hopefully that will, I know that we have a few other roles to fill in that department, but hopefully he'll be able to have their fitness level a whole lot better than what it has been. But we'll soon find out.
Yeah. I do have one thing I want to show you. It's only a quick 7-second clip. Sorry. Gareth Turner sent me this. The Copites of Anfield social media guy. He sent me this. I want to get your guys' opinion on it. Hold on a moment while I try and sort this out. What do you think about that? That's Brilliant. Pretty cool, that, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
Yeah, he sent me that yesterday. I liked that. I thought it was funny as well. I've asked him, I can just in general, like if he wants me to share anything else on my streams, like just to bob them over and I'll share them. I don't mind. But yeah, guys, if that's it, I probably will call an end to the stream here then on that. I think we had a really good show again, like last week. Just so everybody knows, the stream will stay up on the channel as long as YouTube don't pull it down after what Martin did, apparently being nude and all that. And I will also cut it up into the segments that we've spoken about just so people can watch it later on as well. But other than that, guys, that's it for me. Hopefully I will schedule one again for next week as well. So we're back again, same time next week, 7:15. See what we've got to talk about then. I don't know what it'll be by now. Probably be the Arne Slot press conference, I'm guessing by then. But yeah, until then, guys.
The importance of staying having clothes on as well, Martin, as well. That's important as well.
Oh yeah. I will make sure that Martin is fully dressed next time we go live and stuff. So yeah. Right then, guys, if that's it, I will say goodbye to everyone in the chat. Say bye to you guys. Sean, last plug for you.
Yeah, so if you want to get any Klopp tribute t-shirts, mugs, anything from SD Designs 2020 on Redbubble. I have a mug here. Hold on a second till you see.
Might have to turn your background off next time.
I need to take that, yeah. But crank the flange as well, Spectre. But yeah, SD Designs 2020 on redbubble.com. And also give jackdesign.co.uk I think it's jackdesign.uk, I think it's on the bio there that Adam has. He has some fantastic stuff as well. So yeah, thanks Adam, thanks Brian.
Right. Cheers guys, see you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.